Good evening, friends, and welcome to the Rotunda Roundup. I wanted to get on this evening and just acknowledge an important loss that our country had today with the loss of a Texas Specialist Bishop Evans, who is a National Guardsman working at the southern border, trying to secure our border, who noticed a few people in the river who seemed to be in need of help, jumped in to save them, and perished and drowned. It turns out that those needing help were actually members of the drug cartel. And so just what a horrible loss. I certainly hope that Specialist Evans receives a funeral with military honors, which I'm sure he will. But I think that he also and his family ought to receive benefits as if he died during a time of war, with the war being there on the southern border. I do agree with President Trump when he had determined that it was an invasion at our southern border. I think that's true today, and I think that we need to honor those troops who are serving at the border by calling it what it is. This is not a routine training exercise. This is serious business, and it's very dangerous. And our troops are in a very desperate situation, also being really hamstrung in terms of what they can do. And bless his heart, here he is, trying to save people's lives, and then, perishes as a result by people who only mean him and others harm, by evil people who are coming into our country to corrupt our youth, to bring drugs, to bring crime, to bring child and human trafficking. It's just a horrible thing. It's just really a horrible thing. Along those lines also, today I received a book, which I had ordered a book and received it. It's a Laptop from Hell by Miranda Devine. This is a fantastic book, and I don't mean fantastic like it's an interesting read, like it reads like a novel. It is a very easy and really intriguing read. It's also very disappointing. It's just chock full of information, all of it from Hunter Biden's laptop. It's literally whole pages and paragraphs of discussions of emails, texts, pictures, all kinds of things that were going on. And boy, what a wild ride it is. There is so much corruption in the Biden administration, and this just speaks so freely of it. And a lot of it's going on through drug addict Hunter Biden, who throughout the time was at drug rehab numerous times. And that's probably part of the reason how this laptop just ended up, being forgotten. The author notes that he was always losing devices. He lost laptops and all kinds of stuff because he was a meth user, and was dealing drugs and living a really dangerous life. But what I thought was most interesting about it is on page 67, just right here sandwiched in the middle, and I haven't heard anybody talking about this today on the news, and it just really struck me, is a discussion that Hunter has with a psychiatrist about Joe Biden, and it references Joe Biden's dementia, asking whether he has been able to triumph over dementia. And the psychiatrist asking whether, Joe can he now remember his address? And Hunter Biden saying most of the time that he can. If he can't, usually the Secret Service can. And then referencing that Joe Biden was diagnosed with, when he was vice president, with early onset dementia in 2012. And Albo, the psychiatrist that Hunter's talking to, says, does he recall details though? Does he recall any details really with his dementia? And Hunter Biden says, not much these days, but since it's all fake news, I don't see the problem. So they're really relying on the left's narrative of saying that everything bad that comes out about Joe Biden, everything inflammatory, everything that's an ethics violation, is fake news. And so they've really beat that drum. And here we see that the admission really of doing that. And also very frank conversation about the status of our president's mental health. And so I think these are just very interesting things. It also talks about all of the access that Hunter Biden got. And folks, it's extensive. I mean, he was flying on Air Force Two all over the world, meeting with the Chinese, meeting with Russians, striking deals, getting incredible amounts of pay for sitting on boards of things. I mean, it was so clearly pay to play. I think that any grand jury and any jury would probably see it that way, even just based on his own admissions, his own writings about it. It really, really raises some very serious red flags. And so I just want to get on and talk about that. I would encourage you to pick up that book, take a look at it, see what you think. And also, I think that we really do need to start talking a little bit more about it. I think that people who supported Donald Trump, or even if you didn't, but you're a Republican, are really feeling silenced these days. We're feeling shamed because if you say anything, they call you names. They call you, a bigot or an insurrectionist or a agitator or a liar or a corrupt, or, it just goes on. And the far left, the corrupt far left, and I'm not saying all of them are, but unfortunately, those who are really kind of driving a lot of the operations here really will stop at nothing. And now I think, we really understand why, because I think just with this little book is so revealing about what's really going on. And if people know what's going to be coming out about them, they'll stop at nothing, which is why they continuously try and land punches on the right. And it's easy for the right. I see it every day in my job. I'm a college professor, so you can imagine, in Southern California. So, the left is just very much the predominant view, and people feel silenced, and it's not okay. And so I'm just encouraging people to maybe speak up a little bit more, to do it in the right and proper tone, and to start serving where you can. Run for the school board, run for the city council, serve on your HOA, especially go into classrooms and volunteer and see what's really going on with your children in public classrooms. And that's really how we're going to police all of this. Anyway, folks, I just wanted to get on and acknowledge this loss today with Specialist Evans, and also just share a little bit about this book. Good night and be well.